Hi, my name is Marjorie Ann Brown, and today's professional development is going to be based on stress relief strategies for teachers and students. Future Professional Development Survey, it basically said that the majority of you were concerned about literacy, reading, and writing, which is always a staple. And then I was really impressed to see that the majority of us, because this has been an extremely stressful year, wanted to figure out ways in professional development to have improvement in our work life and become more efficient, also how to manage mental health and student support. This has been a highly stressful year, and students and teachers need more skills to basically equip themselves for resiliency and stress relief strategies. So these were the top four in the survey. Sorry for the distracting chihuahua. He is my little emotional support animal. Okay, so he wants to be here. I'm at home, and this is the only way I can keep him quiet. So I hope you guys don't mind our furry little friend. Do you suffer from burnout? Most teachers would say yes at this point of the year after a pandemic. In normal years, 70% of teachers quit their first 5 years. Stress is making them physically and mentally ill, stated by Aguilar in 2018. Our focus must shift to meet our needs and help the whole student. Educators and students are struggling with mental health at an all-time high rate this year. Family challenges, coping with loss, isolation, and depression have been common topics. Learning coping skills that would help build resiliency would be, some top contenders for helping us manage our stress and diminish it. Stress definitely does affect you mentally and physically, and so this is what inspired my professional development for today. The professional development participants today will be identifying signs and causes of stress, engage, analyze, and evaluate different stress relief activities, share resources for teachers and students. So there's going to be some activities today that you can, talk about how we could use them in the classroom, how we can use them in different strategies together. And then we're going to review the stressors. This here is a video that I thought was kind of funny and true, and I'm every year always beating myself up about how I could have done a better job and what kind of teacher I want to be and what kind of teachers inspire me. And so here it says tips for managing stress in the classroom so you don't explode. I thought that was pretty funny, and she has some extremely valid points. So we're going to go ahead and watch this real quick, just a few minutes.
There is something that separates the high-performing teachers from the rest of them. So keep watching to find out what that is. Hi, I'm Patty from Hey Miss, and this is one of the most important conversations we'll ever have. And it's all to do with stress management. Now, it's not that incredible teachers don't experience stress, because they absolutely do. We all do. There's just two things that can make a big difference. First of all, high performing teachers know their stress triggers. They know when they're starting to feel anxious. They know when they're frustrated. They can sense when their mind is starting to race and they can't concentrate. They're aware of when they start doing a lot of short, sharp, shallow breathing, or if they're consistently waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, every morning. But most of all, they know that if they are experiencing any of this, it means that stress is starting to take hold. More cortisol is circulating in their system and they're kicking over into fight or flight response. So their high level cognition is shutting down and they're not going to be able to function at the high level that's needed in schools. They're not able to make quick, level-headed decisions or to respond in calm, assertive ways. Which leads to the second point, that after all of that, after they recognize their own signs of stress, they know how to self-soothe. And it can be different for everyone, but it usually involves connecting back to breath in some way. So, doing deep belly breathing to get centered. And they get active to get out of the head and connected to the body. So, they might go for a walk, or they'll get out in nature, or jump in the ocean, or play golf, or whatever it is, they will find a strategy to calm the nervous system down. And this will become a regular part of their teaching practice. So, as a teacher and as a leader, they are more switched on and ready to make good decisions, to be present with their students and staff, and to think creatively. Stress is not something we can avoid, but we can learn how to manage it so we maintain clarity under moments of pressure. Now, because we are such high achieving caretakers, I urge you to tag a teacher who really needs to hear this message today. Let's take care of ourselves so that we can take care of them.
So this video was very validating to me. Oops, I think no, I didn't. All right. And we just need to basically break it down. I decided to choose this professional development because of my own personal stress management. It's been an extremely stressful year, and then going to grad school on top of it, my glass has been getting diminished of water, and I needed to figure out ways to fuel my tank. And I feel the energy with other peers, other teachers I'm talking to, and the students. And so stress has definitely been something that I felt we need to deal with and talk about in professional development. And that's what we're planning to do today. So we're going to be basically looking at what causes student stress, because obviously, yes, teachers are feeling the stress, but our students too. And we want to cohabitate and help these students, help fuel their tanks, and help give them the coping skills and ways to become more resilient with handling stress. They're going through an awful lot between, just the daily being a student, being a child, and being told what to do every day. They're growing. They are going through puberty. They have possibly negative self-esteem. There's demands from parents or the school, social interaction, relationships, unstable home environment. Us working at a Title I school, we hear this an awful lot. There's also the social media that we never had growing up that they are dealing with the pressures of as well. Financial hardships and homelessness. I had a student for 2 years and never knew he was homeless until I became his foster mom, when the troubles became really strong in his life. We were very close, and so then I committed to becoming his foster mom. Chronic illness. There's also death in the family, financial problems, new school or living situation, and too much on their plate. Boy, can I relate with that. I have here two different, visuals of that where, all of these things are a burden and they feel overwhelmed and it's attacking them all at one time. I feel it personally, and I can't imagine what some of these students are going through. So, what are the common signs of stress? I'm not going to name all of these off, but I do would like you to understand and know what we're looking for when we see this in ourselves or seeing this with our students. Physically, they could have all types of different attributes that would show the stress, from rashes, fatigue, stomach, weight loss, pains, ulcers. Their behavior, maybe they're acting more aggressive or nervous than usual. When you see them not being themselves, when they all of a sudden shut down and become introverted, where they just seem more moody than they usually would before. We know our kids, we see them every single day. We oftentimes see them more than their parents do, because maybe their parents are working two jobs or a night job or something like that. So, it's really important for us to be in tune with our kids and knowing them. Their mental health, maybe they are unable to concentrate, they have confusion or forgetfulness all of a sudden. And of course, those emotional signs like anxiousness, worrisome, impatience, fairly irritable. And so I try to illustrate this with, and this could be an adult or a child, where we're just feeling the cracks. We're not strong. We're feeling overwhelmed. Perhaps we feel like we're just kind of disintegrating. So I thought this was an interesting visual to put along with this. Stress affects learning. Stress can shut down students' ability to motivate them to learn. They have triggers of fight and flight response in the body, which affects their brains, cognitive abilities to process new information. More likely to perform low on their potential and capabilities. Their coping skills can improve learning experiences and increase student success. So, not only is this for teachers, I keep driving home that this has a lot to do with ourselves and for our students. It's really important for us to understand the what and why we're doing this. And it's so that we can build resilience and give them the tools they need to be successful and to cope. So here's several tips that are very helpful with obviously this is for everyone, getting enough sleep. And you cannot, remind those students enough to make sure, you're going to have a big test tomorrow. Yes, you need to study, but the priority is to take care of and fuel you. Make sure you're getting enough sleep and reiterate that to the students that they need for them physically at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep. They're still growing. They still need that relaxation to just get by in the classroom. I mean, I'm working full time and doing night school, and I had two night classes overlapping for the master's program, and boy, was it confusing to me. I cannot imagine my students having six different classes and all the things that they have to get straight in their brain in order to concentrate and do a good job. It's a very humbling experience for me and a reminder of all that we are juggling in life. And so getting, that stress relief is an essential priority. Another thing is focus on their strengths. Think about what you're good at and think about, how you can use that to build upon. Do things that make you happy. Yes, there's things in life we have to do that we don't enjoy, but you still need to fuel your tank and make sure that you're doing things that are uplifting, that build your spirit, whether it's physical activity, whether it's enjoying listening to music or meditation, whatever it is that helps you feel happy is a priority. I already kind of touched base on physical activity. We're not moving enough, especially in a pandemic where most of us have been doing remote learning. We're just sitting on the computer all day, frying our eyeballs, looking at a computer screen. We need to make it a point to get up and move around. That is so important for your body, your muscles, so that they don't break down. And that does affect you mentally. And then talk to somebody, whether it's a teacher to teacher, just, to have somebody that relates and can understand. The same thing for students. Surround yourself by people that uplift you, that understand, and that are positive and that fuel your tank. This is truly an essential thing that we need to do to help us manage our stress. How can teachers help? Frequently check on your students. It's so important to observe our students and the signs of stress that they may be going through and be there for them when you see these signs. Ask students questions. Oftentimes, they won't necessarily share. You'll see it on them, but they may not share unless you take a minute to talk to them and make sure that you're listening to them. Give them time to share. They're not necessarily used to that. Maybe they don't have an adult that they feel comfortable and trust, and this is your opportunity to help fuel their tank. Create a relaxing environment for your students, whether you do aromatherapy, calm, peaceful music for them, just taking the time to help remind them that this is a relaxing, safe place for them to learn. That is really an important thing. Provide stress relief activities. I've decided that this whole next year, I'm going to integrate some stress relief, little warm up activities, anticipatory sets to help kind of set the tone for the rest of the day. And hopefully that will help fuel them and fuel me to have longevity and enjoyment in the classroom. And encourage manageable goals. Breaking down goals into smaller little steps can help reduce the student's stress, you know, to not feel overwhelmed by the big picture, but little doable steps. So these are, additional tips right here, the 5 tips for supporting teens with their online learning. And you can just reestablish, ask and tell, establishing routines, set short-term goals, celebrate small wins. I, need to remind myself of that every little baby step, and use the electronics for reinforcement. Now, today, I thought this was a wonderful way for us to enjoy and just play like the children. Activities that can help set the tone and give stress relief. Now, what we're going to do today is there's basically 5 or 6 little activities here, and I'm going to break you all into little groups, and you're going to go ahead and try one of these on the table. If we were doing this live professional development, I would have this all laid out on different tables for everyone to try one. And then we would get back together as a group after about 5 to 10 minutes, and you would share your activity and how you may use it in the classroom. Because this is a recorded remote professional development that everybody is watching at their leisure because we're already out of school, I have QR codes on the next slide that each one of you can try and then share with each other in a chat. So we will be working with these little QR codes on the next slide, and then we're going to be reflecting and sharing. Share your stress relief activities with the group. When could you use this in your classroom is something I want you to think about in advance. What is your favorite activity? And when can you use it? Suggest some strategies. Maybe you have other things that you use in the classroom that help set the tone for relaxation and engagement. So here are the QR codes that I have. And I also put in hyperlinks where you can click on the buttons. I will share this presentation for each and every one of you. I thought it would be helpful for you to have your cell phone and you can just scan the QR code if you wanted, or you can just click on the hyperlink titles here to get to these different warm up activities. So this one here, maybe I'm supposed to press right here. This one here takes you to a document where you can create your own stress building fortune teller. So you would print this out, and then it's a little game. You would just follow the directions and play with this, and then you can share this with the group. Here is another one. This is a site where you would be basically doing adult coloring. That seems to be a lot of fun and kind of gets you going for the day. I could see myself using this in the classroom, giving everyone 5 minutes to work on their coloring worksheet. And then if they're not done, we can do it the next following day until they do complete it. Just a nice little relaxation, creative outlet for them to create these on the side as a nice little warm up for the day. Since I teach drawing and painting, this kind of comes into play perfectly. And they, get to play with complementary colors, or maybe they want to do all warm, or maybe they want to add different doodles in the background, let's say for the skull or something like that. They could do whatever they want, and it's just an outlet to get their brain going and warming up and relaxing. Another one is the Calm app. This is a great application on your cell phone where it has meditation on it, different activities to help you remain calm, and you could play with that one in the classroom live with students. Here we have the Raffle Doodle. And here you would have the different activities where each participant needs their own piece of paper, and then it leads you into a doodle, and there's different types of doodles that you can do, and then you can share it as a group. That's kind of a fun way to show the diversity in the classroom and an relaxing warm up. Here we have identify your core values. Sometimes we need to be reminded what our triggers are and what our core values are. And this is an exercise where you would circle the words that you feel matter most, and then you basically make it smaller and smaller till you have like your top 3 values. And really thinking about what matters most and what's important to you is a humbling experience, and it also helps you figure out your triggers. Another exercise here, everyday mindfulness. And this one, it plays different scenarios to help you be humble and remind and be grateful for what you do have. I'm not going to play this right now because our time is limited. And the last one is being in the moment, being in your experiences. And so this helps students that are struggling with relationships, that are struggling with their emotions, and perhaps they're feeling overly depressed and things like that, and to focus on the little moments that matter most and not on those negative things, the glass half full. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide here. Now, this is for you teachers personally. I need to be reminded sometimes, and I need to be humbled on how to avoid burnout and what causes and triggers me for burnout. So, here is the QR code, but I have also embedded um, ah, a hyperlink as well. So I just wanted to share these resources for you to go over. Again, it's talking about your core values and discovering within yourself what those triggers are to avoid burnout, having a toxic team, rigid roles, nonstop work thoughts. That happens to me a lot at night, especially on Sundays when I have a fresh new week ahead and I can't turn it off to sleep, and figuring out ways to handle your fatigue. This other one, 4 ways I sabotage my success as a teacher. Just helpful little reminders, 8 keys to avoid teacher burnout. So I'm not going to share all this with you right now because this is something, if you're feeling those triggers, go ahead and get onto this presentation and review this and see what resonates with you and how to deal and how to cope with it. That's, the most important thing is we need to love our students and be reminded why we became teachers, and what we're here to put on this planet to do is to help them grow and focus on the positives, to help them be resilient and help ourselves. And then here we have the next step is, after this whole emotional stress relieving professional development, we're going to dive in deeper with additional professional development. And in that development, which I'll be sharing on the next slide, it's cultivating within ourselves and our students to build resilience, knowing ourselves and cultivating through hundreds of little decisions and choices we make every single day. You can anticipate the moments that trigger you. You can self soothe, do self knowledge, enabling you to build stronger relationships with yourself, your students, your peers. Knowing your talents, your aptitudes, and interests will help you play to your strengths and wisely direct your energy. And know your values, align with your skills, your time, your energy towards purpose and resilience. We will be giving each and every one of you a book based on Onward, and this is by Ms. Aguilar, and it's Cultivating Emotional Resilience in Educators. And we will be doing ongoing follow-up professional development next year in the book reading, and we're going to be getting the groups and discussing the different strategies and supporting one another. Here is the book by Elena Aguilar, and the follow-up reading that we will be doing next year. What really matters, learning objectives that we will be covering is cultivating resilience, uncovering our true selves, being better at understanding emotions, use the energy where it counts, adopt a mindful storytelling approach to communication and community building, and create an environment of collective collaboration. I also have here, before this professional development is over, if you could please do me a favor and fill out this exit ticket. It's a really quick feedback and reflection. I appreciate you so much, and I thank you for your time today, and any feedback that can help me adapt this better to help you all and future professional development would be appreciated. You have a great day. Thank you. And here, of course, is the resources I have available for this professional development with the QR codes. How do I end this?